Okay,
Zero.
welcome everybody tonight. This is our September workshop, and with us tonight, we have our town council. I'm gonna go from right to left. We have Councilman Steve Moreau, Councilwoman Sylvia Santiago, Councilman Stephen Bedetti, Councilwoman Eve Lincoln. We also have our town clerk, Kelly Allegra, with us, our highway superintendent, Anthony Feo. We also have our town attorney, Dave Zagon, with us, and on the IT, we have Justin doing a wonderful job so far, but it's early in the program. All right, so I'll be keeping an eye on you. All right, listen, the first item on the agenda has to do with recreation. So there's a couple of things that we've been talking about over and over again that I just think we kind of just need to revisit and go. So one is the gymnasium, which is more of a long-term project. And I think we've kind of decided that that would be the first thing that we want to tackle long-term. All right, so I've talked to Mike Weeks, our engineer, and he's going to go to work on that. The shorter term is the splash pads. Now, I know there's a lot of work been done on this, especially by Councilwoman Lincoln. So maybe you want to just give us a little overview where we are, Eve, and then maybe Stephen can pop in because I know he's doing some work on it too.
Yes, sure. So, yes, as everybody knows, I've been proposing a splash pad for over a year now. But we also want to do some improvements to Christy Babcock Park, and that's where a larger splash pad would be, hopefully. So we've been meeting with our town engineer and our recreation staff and sort of deciding if we're going to expand and build at Christy Babcock. It should probably be a one-time project, as splitting it up into pieces can lead to, you know, design defect and extra costs. So we're sort of leaning towards so right now our town engineer, per our request, is designing a proposal of the additions at Christy Babcock, which would include an indoor gym, a splash pad, additional parking, basketball courts, pickleball courts, a few other things. So he'll have a proposal for us soon. We can make our notes on it. And then the town board would have to be responsible for discussing funding for it, you know, if we're going to bond it and how much is our budget and that whole process. But we're still in the design phase of that project. But in the interim, a few of us thought it would be a good idea to have a smaller splash pad at one of our other parks to hopefully be open and rolled out by next summer, because the Christy Babcock comprehensive project may take longer. So we're looking at this week, actually, we're meeting with the town engineer and a park designer, a company who sells these products. We're going to go out to our other parks, Rochetti and Christy Babcock, and look at the site and sort of decide, you know, what size splash pad it could hold, what we would do, what the project would entail, just get some more details so we can have a really firm proposal for the town board to look at on that smaller project. Simultaneously, we'll keep talking about the larger project at Christy Babcock. Councilman Bedetti and I did go visit some splash pads. I've been visiting them for a while, but Councilman Bedetti came with me to a few recently. We've looked at ones that dispose of the water into their, you know, into their town drainage system, and we've looked at ones that recycle the water. So we need to decide if we're going to invest in recycling the water, which would be a bigger investment up front, but it would save us the cost of using our water, which we all know there's a limited capacity of. So those two numbers will have to be decided also by the town board, which avenue we're going with. Now that summer's over, some towns are going to be sending me their readings for how much water they used at their particular splash pads this month, the month of August, and that will help us gauge how much we would probably use at a similar size park, so we can know how much water we will be using, and that will help us decide whether or not to recycle it. So it's definitely in the works. I'm gonna keep on top of it. It's obviously something I'm very invested in, and just gonna hopefully keep moving forward. And yeah.
Yeah, I think that, we have been kicking this around a while, but it's not as simple as it sounds. You know, once you start to look into it and you get some of the professionals involved, the engineers and our water department people, I mean, you really need to be sure what you're doing before you spend this kind of money. So probably if you're looking at two, you're probably looking in the $400,000 area, in my guess. I haven't seen the numbers, but that would be my smaller one and the bigger one. You begin to get there, and then the ongoing cost becomes a problem. So I think we're kind of really getting to like the nitty gritty where we're going to do it. And I think there's a commitment on the town board's part, bond some of these things for the town. So I think they're finally this is going to work. I mean, you have been involved in this from the get-go, pushing it pretty hard. Stephen got involved with you, went to visit things. So I think the more people we talk to, we don't want to make any mistakes. So other people have made mistakes. Sometimes we benefit by their mistakes, other
Yes.
municipalities, and we don't make the same mistake.
Yeah, I went to one town where they installed the wrong floor and
Yeah.
they admitted it. They're like, you don't want this floor. And then I went to another town, they're like, you want this floor. So it's a good learning process, but so you're correct. We want to do it the right way. And hopefully soon, now that we're getting down to the details and meeting with, meeting at the parks and laying stuff out, we will have more of a firm cost and a firm like outline of what the project entails in terms of digging and water. And so I could hope to give a more detailed proposal soon too.
Yeah, my feeling from the town board is that they're in favor of it. Just want to make sure that we know where we're going.
Exactly.
You want to add anything?
You know, I just wanted to, just to make sure, at some point, we gotta just get on board with the comptroller, just to make sure she knows that we have a
Exactly.
certain amount budgeted, because I know our Parks and Recs fee and money, I think is around 400,000-ish.
Right.
And I know we have some other things going on that we committed to as well. So just as long as we can fund it,
Okay.
okay, whether it be bonding or through the, budget process. we just wanna
Right.
make sure,
Yeah, we need to talk.
we're in that process now, so now's the time.
Yeah, it's a good time to.
Get that
Okay.
on paper.
Listen, the bonding could come later. Listen, the gym definitely gonna be bonded. So
Oh,
if you added something like this to the gym, it'd probably be okay.
Mhm.
You know, so as long as we keep moving it forward, all right? I mean, I think we're doing due diligence, which is what we're all hired to do.
We'll probably have some better idea of cost.
Yeah,
by
once you
next
have the
month.
Yeah, next meeting. Yeah. Oh, we'll start.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, the next item on the agenda is this Woodlawn Cemetery House. As everybody knows, they walked away from Woodlawn, and state law is pretty clear when any cemetery becomes, the people who run it leave, it becomes the municipality's problem. So we've been running it for a while. There's a house that's there, which we renovated, and it really is in very good shape. And we have rented it to one of our employees for fair market value, and with the understanding that she would do some work as far as opening and closing and keep an eye on the cemetery at night, because it's right at the entrance. So she has since retired. She's indicated that she would like to maintain the house. Just as a point of interest, we've been, I think it's 3% increase every year we've been getting on that original rent. I think she's paying right now, I don't think, she's paying like $1,310. So I asked Todd Wiley to take a look at what the comparables were around, to come up with a number. He comes back with 2,500, which I thought was pretty high. But one of the things that I worry about is rentals, is that I get calls almost weekly from landlords who can't get people out of the renters out. They won't pay the rent. They're in there for years at a time. Now, one guy even came in here one time, and the tenant owed him $10,000, and he actually told the tenant, if you just leave, I'll forget the 10,000. And the tenant said, no, I'm going to stay. So it's a little difficult to get people out. So I had a conversation with her today, Betsy. She's willing to stay. I thought that we would increase the rent to 1,500 from 1,300, which is much more than 3% that we were doing. She's on a month, so there's nothing that we need to worry about there. There's no lease. So I'm proposing that we increase the rent from 1,300 to 1,500, and she will continue to be a caretaker at the cemetery. And that kind of alleviates us hiring people to go down and do things. And also, I hate to say it, we've been very fortunate at that cemetery. We haven't had any problems down there. Some other cemeteries have had problems. We haven't had any vandalism. I hate to say that, but we haven't. So that being said, any comments from anybody? I'm gonna start with you. Hey, you, right there.
Yes, sir.
Anything? 1,500
I
sound
think
right to you?
with the headstones in the backyard makes it a pretty good deal.
Pretty good deal. Okay, well, you're a real estate guy, so I mean, you know what I'm talking about with these people who don't pay the rent.
I've had people who have offered to pay them to leave and they won't
Yeah,
leave.
yeah, but pay to leave, and they won't leave. She's been a good tenant. She pay, every month we pay, and I said, more importantly to me, we haven't had any issues at that cemetery. So, what do you say?
No, I agree. That's fine. Thank you.
Stephen?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so that's, now, the only thing is, do we keep it a month, or we give her a year? Mr. Zagon, I'm gonna defer to you. Should we do a year lease or stay on a month?
I would suggest a lease.
Excuse me?
I would suggest a lease.
So let's do a lease and put a 3% in there, and let's see what happens. All right, so when you get a chance, maybe next month or so, put that together. And I'll get a hold of her and tell her that's where we're going.
And are the duties written into the lease to?
Excuse me?
Are the duties written into the lease?
Yeah,
Right, right, you have to put that in, yes. Mhm.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
part
it'll
of
just be this,
consideration.
whatever it was last time, David, other than if it says something about being an employee, it's not. Listen, I was approached by Frank Pieri, a retired sergeant from our police department and very active in the fire service, and asked if we could do another 9/11 ceremony. So I involved Stephen Bedetti, because he's involved with the fire companies. And we're gonna do kind of brief ceremony, probably 9/11, which is next Monday at 6 p.m. We had a couple of meetings about it, and Dan Clarino, who is a local real estate person, who's also has quite extensive military background, asked him to be the keynote speaker. And it'll be probably 20 minutes to half an hour. Okay, we pretty much went over it today. Stephen was with me, Stephen Bedetti. So that'll be 6 o'clock on next Monday, and that'll be a rain or shine. Somebody asked if it rains. Well, if it rains, that's emergency service people who are gonna rain. We can stand around for 20 minutes in the rain. So 6 o'clock on 9/11. The Orange County grant, that's the community center, and Maresco, you were talking to Joey Menuda. Are you still chasing him?
Yeah, so the 7th, they have they have their final approval meeting to give us 5,000.
Okay.
It's gotta be used for a few different specific things, so, we decided, I spoke to Sylvia, we decided to use it towards the seniors program.
Okay.
So we're gonna put a couple TVs in both places, couple other amenities for them, some new tables.
Was there a
chairs.
stove, something?
We're try to put a new stove down in the community center. They were,
Okay.
I think they come back in a session next Tuesday.
Okay.
The new stove top, ultimately at some point, the whole countertop and counters need to be replaced, but we'll.
So I think Sylvia, if you can get that commitment from them, we'll spend the money
Yeah.
before we get the money, all right? But let's get the
Great.
commitment.
So it's supposed to be approved on the
We'll do
7th,
that,
so, yeah.
all right? You guys can shepherd
Yeah.
that through. And did you let Jackie Angelo know that we're?
I did,
Okay.
so yeah, they're excited about some of the new stuff coming, so.
Yeah, well, I guess if we need to fix the stove, we should fix the stove.
Yeah,
Just as a reminder, we have a couple of public hearings going on tomorrow night. One is Todd Wiley will do the sewer assessment role. And if you remember, we had that Blooming Hill thing, we kept that open too, so we'll close that public hearing tomorrow. So there'll be that, Wiley will handle the sewer assessment role, so that'll be the first thing, and then that Blooming Hill farm, let me see this. Is there another public hearing here? Yeah, we have that tax levy limit that we have to do, in case we go over, which we're hoping that we don't. Which brings me to a point, we're in a budget process right now. We have received all of the wish lists from the department heads. And we have a meeting tomorrow with one of our outside contractors, does water and sewer for us, Kmart Pollution. Want to talk to a little bit about him, about what he's looking for. And then Doreen will put the numbers together, have some chat with her, then we'll get back to you guys, take a look at it and see where we're going. So, right now, everybody asks for pie in the sky, but, our responsibility is to take a look at it to see if we can get by without it, or, listen, and I've always said this, and I think all of you have agreed that if we need to spend money to fix something, we're gonna do it, but we're not gonna waste any money. So we, as a board, I think, have shown over the last 4 years that we will spend money to enhance the town and our properties. So let's see what this budget looks like, and we'll go from there. All right, so go ahead.
I guess it's worth saying too, just so, I guess, if anybody's been watching it, this KMO contract was a 5-year contract that's up at the end of this year, along with the CSEA and the PBA contracts. So we have 3 of them coming up. So it's gonna be a bit of a challenge, but we'll get it done, but it's just,
Yeah. Well,
we do have all of them coming to a head, so.
the PBA and the CSA elected to negotiate the contract with a new board, which is okay with me. So, I mean, we'll plug something in the budget for that, and see where we're going. I mean, I've been watching what the numbers are around, and we've been pretty much in line with everybody. So you have to see, listen, those budget projects, I've been involved in a lot, they ask for everything, and then you work your way to something that becomes reasonable for everybody. But the camo thing, I think we can resolve pretty quickly with him tomorrow. And they do a good job for us, and it's a good contract for them, so I think it's on both ends positive for us. All right, so that's the end of that portion of the meeting, so I'll say goodbye to Justin and all his friends on live streaming.